All right, so we'll have to figure out how quickly we can get through like some sort of cold open. So give me something. Not to put you on the spot or anything, but I kind of need to.
I mean, if you need a cold open, let's talk about how fucking cold it is outside.
That's true. That is a good cold open.
I mean, what are we
punny person?
What are we going through? Like some sort of weird bomb cycle, some kind of shit they're calling it?
That was what yeah, I think that's what I heard.
They have a new term for that shit every fucking time.
Yeah,
Personally,
bomb cycle seems like a weird term to use for cold.
Yeah.
I believe this is the day after tomorrow effect.
Ask Eric, dude. I've been saying that
like.
for years. That like, just like that fucking movie, all this climate change bullshit, we're all gonna freeze over.
Yeah, like it's the way it's working. It's just sending fucking ice hurricanes down at us. That's what's happening right now.
I mean, if I have to start killing fucking frost wolves in my yard, I'm gonna be pissed.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Bright Guy and Super Friends. I'm your host, Brian Labick. Joining me for this episode is Andy Stoles.
What's up, podcast people?
Nice twist. And Mike Bradley.
With the way that thing was hesitating a little, I'm not sure what's going to happen.
What, Andy's Skype?
Yeah.
Yeah, this could be an adventure, that's for sure. I mean, it usually is every time we do this. So yeah, we're back for the new year. Happy holidays to everyone and happy new year. How was your guys' holiday and new year? All that good stuff. Did Santa, you get everything Santa, or everything you wanted from Santa?
I got a really badass Star Wars snow globe.
Nice.
Yeah. It's Luke upside down in the
Wampa Cave.
Wampa Cave, yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Ultra badass.
That is a good snow globe.
Mike,
I'm surprised I've never seen that. I got some gift cards, some cash, some booze. So
it's all good.
All in all, wins all around there. Nothing particularly nothing as interesting as Luke upside down in the Wampa Cave snow globe.
Yeah, I don't think I can beat that either. I got too much adulting crap.
I could show you guys.
Oh,
uh-oh!
It's gonna do really well for the podcast listeners.
We need you to post a picture as well for everyone listening.
Okay.
You can always just find the listing on Amazon or something and put it on the Facebook page.
That's true.
Are you not grabbing it now? I thought you were reaching for it.
I wasn't reaching for that.
Oh. All right, that's terrible. All right, well, yeah, you can show us when we're done recording. We'll worry about it then. All right, so I think we mentioned this on a previous episode, but we're finally going to give our 2 cents on the Disney-Fox deal that happened a few weeks ago. And at some point, I can't remember if it was during the show or not, but we had talked about trying to fan cast our version of the X-Men for the MCU. So we'll sort of get to that after the Fox-Disney deal. So for the Fox-Disney deal, I'm going to just give some background information and try to connect some dots in case you haven't been following along with all this as much as the rest of us have. Part of the dots I'm going to try to connect sort of go back a little bit earlier than just a few months ago. So bear with me. So back in the 90s, Marvel was on the verge of bankruptcy. In order to keep afloat, they sold off a bunch of their film rights to some of their more popular characters. Blade, Punisher, Ghost Rider, Daredevil, Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, all these characters got movies in the early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s at other studios. Now, in the late 2000s, Marvel decided to start making movies themselves and started their own production company. That's where Marvel Studios came from. Now, they started making movies with what they considered their quote-unquote B-list characters that they still had under their belt, and that started with Iron Man in 2008. So eventually, Marvel was bought by Disney. However, the characters they sold off in the 90s were still unable to be used under the Marvel Studios banner. They were still contracted to these other studios. So in the details of some of these contracts, when they sold off the rights to those characters, it was in there that if a movie featuring the character is in active development in a certain amount of time, the rights for the characters revert back to Marvel. So over time, we didn't get a new Blade movie, we didn't get a new Punisher movie, they stopped making Ghost Rider movies, Daredevil stopped after the Ben Affleck movie, well, even the Elektra spinoff too, they stopped after that. So all of those properties did not have a movie in active development after so long, so all those characters came back to Marvel. So that basically left Spider-Man, the X-Men, and Fantastic Four as holdouts. Now, Sony kept making and rebooting Spider-Man movies in order to hang on to the rights to the character. And technically, they still hold the rights to the character. A few years ago, Marvel and Sony made a deal to share the character, but technically, Sony still has Spider-Man. So Spider-Man sort of kind of came back to Marvel, which only really leaves X-Men and Fantastic Four still out there. Now, both of those properties were sold to Fox. Fox continued to push out X-Men movies to varying degrees of success, and they've also tried 3 times to make a successful Fantastic Four movie. Lately, the X-Men movies continue to lose money for the studio, Logan being the exception, and the Fantastic Four movies were never a box office hit. So couple that with the other failing film franchises that Fox has, and suddenly Fox is looking to unload their entertainment division on someone who wants to take it over. So all the while Marvel was having their ups and downs in the 90s and 2000s, Disney is slowly consolidating power in the entertainment industry. 2006, Disney buys Pixar for $7.4 billion. 3 years later, in 2009, Disney buys Marvel for $4 billion. 3 years after that, Disney buys Lucasfilm for $4 billion. So 5 years after that, after months of rumors, Disney finally pulls the trigger and buys Fox's entertainment divisions for $52.4 billion. This is technically $65 billion. They paid $13 billion of Fox's debt, which brings it down to basically $52 billion. So this includes 21st Century Fox, Fox Broadcasting Network, FX, and among some other spin-off other divisions and stuff that they got. They did not get like Fox News, and Fox Sports I think stays there. Since Disney already owns ESPN, they don't need another sports division.
So wait, I don't think I realized this, but so Disney owns Archer now?
More or less, yeah.
They own the station that shows Archer.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Yeah, because I don't know who produces FX or Archer. I assumed it would be some sort of division of Fox if it's on FX. But I guess I'm not really sure where that would fall. They would at least, if with them owning FX, I guess they would at least be able to broadcast Archer. Not that they would show it on like ABC or anything like that, because I think that's probably not the station they want to show that on.
No, but Archer's really badass, so
yeah.
I'm just pumped.
So we'll get to the list of the movies and TV's shows that Disney got in this deal in a bit. I want to swing back around to Disney buying up all this entertainment. After the Sony deal to share Spider-Man, fans have been waiting for this to happen for the X-Men and Fantastic Four to hopefully have all of these characters play together in the MCU. And thanks to this deal, that can happen. Now, while that may seem like it might be some of the motivation behind Marvel Studios wanting this deal to go through, I think Disney has a far bigger plan in mind for all this stuff. I think it was probably within the last year or two, Disney was sort of starting to make headlines about how Marvel and Star Wars and Disney properties would be leaving Netflix in the next few years. Now, the reason they're leaving Netflix is because Disney wants to have their own streaming service to compete with Netflix. Now, having the Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, and Disney properties under one roof seemed like a pretty good way for them to compete with other streaming services, but now Disney can add all of these Fox properties to the service as well. And I really think that's probably the biggest motivation for them to add all of this under the Disney roof, is to just solidify their streaming services like the one-stop shop for people to go to. So along with all the properties under Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm, here's some other stuff that Disney is getting from Fox. So the obvious ones we talked about: X-Men, Deadpool. Even though Deadpool's part of X-Men, he's more popular now, so people know Deadpool, and the Fantastic Four. All of those are now back with Marvel and under Disney.
So Fantastic Four, the Watcher.
Yeah, they can actually finally use all those other... The Skrulls should be fair game now, even though they were rumored to be in Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel, before this deal. I thought I had heard that was why they never used the Skrulls before, is because they were technically under Fantastic Four. So maybe we'll see Doctor Doom show up as like a decent villain for the MCU.
Please God, we get a good Doctor Doom villain, because
yeah.
he's really badass in the comics, and I'd love to see him be super badass in the movies.
Yeah, because I think there's some cosmic stuff probably tied to the Fantastic Four that they haven't been able to use just because they've been under Fantastic Four. So I'm anxious to see what they can do with these. All right, some other movie properties that they have got. They actually get the original trilogy and prequel trilogies of Star Wars with this deal, because since those were distributed through Fox, Disney couldn't really do anything with them. They own Lucasfilm, sure, but they can't distribute those movies through their proper channels. So now that Fox had them and now Disney has Fox, they get them all under one roof, which means, theoretically, if, depending on what kind of rumors you believe, Disney could release the unaltered original trilogy on Blu-ray. They have the rights to do that. But depending on the rumors, like they've been had people. This is always, it comes up all the time. Is like, oh, the unaltered original trilogy will show up on home video at some point. But then there's people that say that since they made the special editions, they basically cut up the original cut of the movie to make the special editions, which means there may not be an original cut of the movie together to use at all anymore. So we'll see if that ever, I'm sure it'll be years before we see anything like that, but that'll be something that I'm sure Star Wars fans are looking forward to. Other franchises: Die Hard, Alien, Predator, Independence Day, Avatar,
oh good God,
Kingsman. Which Avatar makes sense because they're putting an Avatar land in Disney, so now it's all under Disney, so that sort of makes sense.
Yeah, they better do something to Independence Day, because that last movie.
I think they'll just let Independence Day die, honestly. Avatar, Kingsman, Planet of the Apes, Fight Club, Home Alone, Night at the Museum, The Maze Runner, Ice Age, The Martian, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Percy Jackson, and The Chronicles of Narnia.
Ooh.
Now, those aren't all of them. Those are just some that I had seen on lists that I sort of handpicked. TV shows. Obvious ones that are from Fox: The Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, King of the Hill, Bob's Burgers. Modern Family they actually own now, which, yes, it owns or it plays on Disney-owned ABC, but the show is produced by Fox, so now it's all under ABC and Disney. This Is Us, Empire, The X-Files, The Gifted, The Americans, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, American Horror Story, Sons of Anarchy, Legion, 24, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Hill Street Blues, MASH, The Shield, and The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
And Archer.
Yeah, I'm assuming Archer, but I didn't see that show up on anybody's list, so we'll throw that in there too. We'll say that's part of it too. So I guess the big question is, and I know we're all excited about Marvel getting X-Men and Fantastic Four back, but should we be worried about how much entertainment Disney now owns?
It sounds like it. I mean, I'm kind of worried as to what happens with several of these franchises. They're money makers, and Disney loves their money. So I don't think you're going to see them turn away from Family Guy in its lewd nature. But does the episode where Disney mocked where Family Guy mocked Disney so hard go away?
Yeah.
You know, things like that come up in my mind. But
I think we talked.
They're owning a lot. I don't think they've gone too far in this step.
Because I think we talked. I think it was off the air at some point. We talked about this probably right after the deal happened. I think. But in a sense, I guess Disney, if they wanted to, could basically just leave Fox the way it is and just let them run themselves. But it'll just be a division of Disney. Because it's sort of just like the Marvel Studios movies. You don't see a Disney logo before that. You see Marvel Studios. So if they wanted to, they could keep 21st Century Fox and the television shows under Fox and just keep putting the Fox logo, but maybe somewhere in there just put an asterisk and put Disney Company or something like that.
I mean, if they were going to do that, I would totally gut who runs Fox first, because they've been running it into the ground.
True.
And they're not going to make any money if they just let them do what they've been doing.
True. Like, yeah, I think some of the ones that probably need changed, such as like the X-Men and the comic properties, obviously. I think they're going to go through Kevin Feige now.
Yeah.
So he'll be the one to right that ship and take those creative decisions away from Fox. Now, whether or not some of those producers stay on, I don't know, because it's really hard to figure out the business side of things and who's working on what and whose creative decisions they want to get rid of, or if it's going to be trying to like everyone that's worked on those X-Men movies stays on the franchise, but they all just have to report to Feige now or something like that.
Oh, I really hope that's not the case. Like, they need to completely reboot.
Oh, yeah.
And reboot, restart, get rid of everybody that worked on those movies. Good Lord. In that particular case.
Yeah, I agree. Because I haven't been much of a fan of those. Well, Fantastic Four struggled, and X-Men last couple movies, again, aside from Logan, last couple of proper X-Men movies, I don't think have sat really well with me.
There's been ones that were okay. Days of Future
yeah.
Past kind of knocked it out of the park, and then others really failed.
See, I don't know. I even struggle with Days of Future Past anymore. Like, I liked it when it first came out, and the more I watch it, I'm just kind of like, meh. I like First Class, I think, more than Days of Future Past, to be honest.
I think First Class does a better job of exploring the characters, the depth of character in them. I don't know, as an X-Men fan, Days of Future Past felt like an X-Men movie. Like, it felt like it looked and belonged in the X-Men universe.
Yeah.
It felt more like I was watching a version of the comic.
Okay.
The visual style, everything like that, I felt like was much more X-Men in that movie.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, so speaking of the X-Men, what do we think Disney will do? More sort of like with this. Do we think with Logan being rated R and Deadpool being rated R, do you think Disney will have a hand in making those properties come back around to PG-13? Or do you think they'll let them stay out there as a rated R property?
I think they'll give some leeway with Wolverine and where they go with that, and like I think they'll push that more back towards PG-13. Even though I just think because of the character and how widely popular it is across all platforms that they'll push it back toward that. But Deadpool, I think they'll let go, because the reason Deadpool's successful is because Fox took the reins off and said, go ahead and make a superhero movie that does whatever the hell it wants.
Yeah. Andy, what do you think?
It's tough to say, because, I mean, Disney has this, like, weird penchant for not putting out R movies, so... But, I mean, a lot of these...
Well, not under the Disney banner. Like, I think they have offshoot studios that release rated R movies. It's just, you don't see the Disney logo.
So if they keep Fox as Fox and just end up owning Fox and, like, creatively, controlling Fox, then they can still release R movies, and it's not really Disney.
Yeah.
So...
And that's kind of what I'm hoping they do.
And what? Deadpool and Logan were both huge successes, so why would you change it?
Well, I think more towards... I think I'm sort of siding with Mike on this, mainly because Wolverine will be part of the X-Men whenever they presumably reboot this franchise, which means he will be part of the MCU, which is traditionally PG-13 movies. If you have kids watching the MCU movies with Wolverine and the X-Men, and then you spin off Wolverine into a rated R movie, you presumably lose the kid demographic. I could see...
lose the kid demographic when they did that this last time?
I don't know how many kids actually went and saw Logan. Like, PG-13 movies, I can see, like, under 10-year-olds going to see those movies. Like, parents taking their kids to that.
Yeah,
I don't know how many parents will willingly take their kid to a rated R Wolverine movie if they're under 10.
I saw a ton of young kids at the Logan movie when I went.
Yeah, and that still surprises me. I don't know.
I feel like you
Maybe
saw
it's
some
just
of
me.
bad parents. Like, I mean, here's the thing, though. That movie was not at all made for children. They made that movie for adults. I feel like children would have been lost on a lot of that movie.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that they even attempted to make easily followed for children. They didn't even try.
You don't think that kids could have identified as what's her name, X-23 or any of her little gang?
I guess maybe.
I identified, yes, but followed the whole story, no. I don't think they would have understood any of the major themes in that story that made it such a good movie.
I mean, I guess it just comes down to, like, parenting and what you want your kids to see. I feel like...
Oh, sure.
Because I'm sure there's always the exceptions where parents will still take their kids to a movie that's way out of their realm and element and stuff they probably shouldn't see at that young of an age. But, you know, vast majority, I'm going to say, I would assume, would shy away from something like that. Now, Deadpool being its own thing, that I can get behind. I think since he's sort of kind of playing with the X-Men universe as it is now, whether he's connected, whether he's not connected, like it doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. So you could still keep Deadpool sort of in that bubble, still under Disney and whatever they decide to do with the MCU.
Right.
Pop my bubble.
And I hope he uses that line if he ever shows up in the MCU.
I'm telling you, I really want a mid-credits Deadpool scene.
In an MCU movie.
In Infinity War. Now that they own it, I want Deadpool I want it to be as though Deadpool is now in the MCU. I want it to feel that way. I want him just to pop up on his own randomly and just insert himself forcefully into the Avengers movie and be like, I'm an Avenger now!
Inserting himself forcefully just sounded really bad.
That's what Deadpool would do.
Well, the other thing, the other sad part of this is that I read is that it's going to take 12 to 18 months for like the fine print of this deal to go through.
Yeah.
Which means we won't see any actual changes to the X-Men or the MCU for, 18 months, 2 years at least. So that means like basically whatever movies Fox has in development right now or that is on their way out are still going to happen. So X-Men Dark Phoenix is still happening. Deadpool 2 is still happening. Gambit, I don't know what's happening with that movie since they couldn't get that off the ground. So I don't know if that's still
pre-production at this point, right?
I would say that's probably not happening.
So since that one hasn't began filming, there's a good chance that one's going to get axed.
That might actually be a good thing with all of the sludge that's been trying to get through with Fox, that it might be good that it's getting a new beginning with Disney.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have to see what Kevin Feige and Marvel's plan for the X-Men is and where they want to introduce them, how they want to introduce them, how long we wait before we get them. Because I'm sure once all the fine print is done and they can officially use these characters, it's going to take at least 2 years to get a movie off the ground.
Yeah.
So you're looking at maybe 4 years before we get an X-Men movie.
They can pre-plan all of that.
Right, but you're still, even pre-production could still take some time, but once the cameras start rolling, you're looking at maybe a year and a half between filming and post-production and getting all that stuff done. So even if they start pre-production a little bit early, I still think it's a solid 4 years before you see something.
I wouldn't run it past Feige to have had a sort of structure down when this did happen. Like if Disney didn't come to him and said, like, hey, we're going to get this done. So if you could perchance even throw together some sort of structure of how this is going to go down, go ahead and do it and just put it in the vault and we'll unlock it when we buy it.
Well, the good news is that we don't, they haven't made any announcements for Phase 4, so we don't know what movies are coming down the pipe except Homecoming 2. Spider-Man Homecoming 2 is supposed to be the first one in Phase 4. So, but after that, we don't know what movies are coming, what sequels are coming, so whatever plan they may have had for Phase 4 could now be altered and we would never know the difference. So, after Avengers 4, when they presumably announce what Phase 4 is going to be, we could start seeing X-Men titles in there. Because that's going to be, a year and a half away. So by then, Fox deal might actually be done.
That's true.
And they can talk about it. So did any of the properties that I ran down, any of that stuff surprise you? Are you surprised any of that stuff is now under Disney?
I was surprised about Die Hard for some reason.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that was a Fox property.
Yeah.
Yeah, that... I completely forgot.
Some of them I think I knew were Fox properties, but I never thought about they're included in it, like Independence Day and Planet of the Apes. So
I think we were all too focused on what was going to Marvel, and
Right.
like they're getting their Fantastic Four, they're getting their X-Men. We're all excited about that, and I feel like we're too focused on that to really think about the other properties and why it's actually worth that 50 some odd $billion.
And those were the headlines too. It wasn't like Disney's getting all these Fox properties. It's Marvel's getting X-Men. That's what we were reading everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, Avatar
So-
by itself, I mean, like, holy shit. That's a huge intellectual property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since Disney wants to promote their parks
Yeah.
with an Avatar land.
Like, holy
They're
shit.
going to milk
yeah.
the crap out of those 5 sequels or whatever the fuck James Cameron wants to do.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I'll go to Avatar Land. That sounds fucking cool.
Andy wants to put his hair string thing into things. What the fuck did they call those in Avatar? The thing that
The braid
You know
that
what I'm
they
talking about.
like attach to the animals and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but yes.
it'll be like interactive Harry Potter land with the wands and stuff, except you have that hair string braid thing and just plug it into things, and shit happens. All right, so the next question I'm thinking, what do you guys think the streaming service will be like? Do you think they're going to charge out the ass now that Disney has all these properties? Do you think it'll be like 15, 20, 25 bucks a month for something like this?
I hope it's not 25 because they would still want people to be able to afford it, right? I mean, and
Yeah, they got to hit a price point to maximize.
right. So they want like even like lower class families to be able to watch these Disney things too, right? You got to make it accessible.
Yeah.
So 25
I
seems
feel
like
like-
it'd be pretty expensive, but like
I feel like $15 is probably going to be where they go.
yeah, I could see
Yeah,
15 and 20 maybe to eliminate ads or some kind of shit like that. You know,
Yeah. Because Netflix is getting close to 15 now. And
if it's not already over.
I can't remember the last bill I got. I think it was like
Didn't-
14 something.
I was gonna say,
so I think
didn't
it's
it-
getting up there.
Didn't it just go up another $1.50 or something?
Yeah. So depending on, I guess, how many accounts or whatever, how that all divides up, it might be a little bit more than that, depending on how your settings are gone. But I think I'm getting close to 15. So yeah, I think for for a good place to start, I think Disney could start with 15, and maybe if they don't get enough subscribers or something, I could see them upping up to like 20 to try to jack that up. But yeah, I mean, at some point they got to start. I was gonna say paying for all the properties, but I guess they own all the properties, so it doesn't really matter.
Right. If they do that, they should definitely put the Clone Wars on there and put it in chronological order instead of like the shitty watch through Netflix, let it play through itself order.
Yeah, I don't know what would be, because it's probably easier for them just to upload season after season after season and not put it in the actual order it's supposed to be watched in.
It's crap.
Good thought, though. I like that thought.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I mean that whole chronological list is on StarWars.com, which is owned by Disney.
Yeah. See, it's all together.
Yeah.
Cohesive.
Yeah. There should just be like a little toggle. Chronological? Yes. Toggle.
Yeah, that'd be good. Season order or chronological order.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'd toggle the shit out of that.
And what would that take
Sounds dirty.
for them to do? Like 45 minutes from one of their employees to
Just put together
make
a
it
playlist.
so you could do that?
Yeah, because the list is like
Oh, yeah.
the actual list they should be watched in is already out there. Just make the episodes go in that order.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
make a playlist.
like-
Like, boom, done. Haha.
Yeah.
You don't even have to
Be
laugh.
quick
at
and
that.
easy. No, I
Laugh
think
is
you do.
optional.
I think the laugh now has to come with it.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually in 2 years I will probably really consider getting into this streaming service because I think there's too much good stuff under Disney now that it's going to be hard not to get into this.
It would be, yeah.
And I think that's what they want. So I feel like they've already got my money.
Which will probably mean that like these Netflix only Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and all that would probably go over there too, huh?
Yep. Everything Disney owned that is on Netflix now is going off of Netflix in the next 2 years. And now you could probably presumably say anything that's owned by Fox on Netflix is now going off
Yeah.
in the next couple of years. So watch them while you can, because they ain't going to be there too much longer.
By the way, I just saw on Netflix that Jessica Jones is releasing March 8th.
Yeah, season 2.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that.
I still haven't gotten through Punisher, to be honest.
Oh, I
still
just
have to finish Punisher. Is it good?
I liked it. It's pretty bloody.
Okay. Yeah, that's sort of what I got from the first couple. Okay, so I think we've talked about the deal enough. So the other thing we were sort of thinking about beforehand, assuming that the X-Men go to the MCU and that Marvel and Disney want to just completely wipe the slate clean and reboot the X-Men and do with them what they want. So with that in mind, we were going to try to do some fan casting of just who we thought could portray some of these characters in the MCU under Disney, who they might pick. I don't think Andy said he couldn't think of anybody, didn't get a list. So Andy's going to be our unbiased third party, and sort of give his.
I wouldn't proclaim myself to be unbiased, but I'm not going to let you know what I'm biased towards. Oh.
Raised eyebrow. So Mike and I came up with some lists. We never actually agreed which characters we're trying to cast, so I just started writing some characters down and was like, oh, this person would be good. So we might have some of the same, we might have some different characters. We'll just kind of see where it goes. And we'll just try to go back and forth, and maybe we'll let Andy choose which ones he thinks might be better.
Okay.
And to be honest, actually, there were some characters where I was like, ooh, that person would be good. Ooh, that person would be good too. So I have some multiple possibilities for some people.
I only have one wrote down with multiples.
Okay. So pick a character.
Personality?
No.
Damn it.
It's just... no, unfortunately, it was just... I couldn't decide between two people.
All right, so Mike, do you want to start with a character? Just pick one and we'll...
Let's start Fantastic Four.
Oh, see, I didn't even cast Fantastic Four. I just did X-Men.
Oh.
Damn
I
it.
thought we were doing the whole thing.
No,
then you can both judge mine then. How about that? I'll just
My
run
bad.
through my Fantastic Four, and you guys can say, "Oh."
The host is unprepared.
Wait! I have a gavel for this.
A gavel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it going to be like the Law and Order sound? Am I going to sit here and...
Yeah.
Dun-dun.
All right, so Mr. Fantastic, I came up with Zachary Quinto. I was going with a younger version of the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
And not as young as they did maybe in the last one, but I'm not sure because I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But I went
Didn't miss much.
Zachary Quinto for Mr. Fantastic, Natalie Dormer for Sue Storm, Michael Cudlitz for The Thing, Mads Mikkelsen for Doctor Doom.
Oh,
that's a good one.
And Human Torch is the one on my list that I had two for. One is Dave Franco.
Chris
the
Evans
other is...
and Chris Evans.
Well, we can't have that. I tried not to cast
know.
anybody that is currently cast in the MCU. I tried not to do that.
well, Mads
Dave...
was what? He was in Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he was, but I didn't care.
Oh, that's
that
true.
Was just... I didn't care.
Yeah,
he was too good.
Josh's song "Between Two Worlds" or something like that.
Yeah, except that's the same world. That's both Marvel at this point.
I try to do it.
He's in a mask as Doctor. Fuck it, Human Torch. I went Dave Franco or Ansel Elgort.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I think both of them would function extremely well in that role.
I might actually go Ansel.
I would
over
go
Dave
Ansel
Franco.
on that one too.
Yeah, he was listed first, but Dave Franco I thought would be good. It was,
Okay.
He wouldn't be terrible,
yeah. So since I did that, I will let you go ahead and choose a X-Men to go first with.
I like those picks.
Now
I would watch that Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, me too. Now I feel bad I didn't do Fantastic Four. Maybe I'll try to. I'll try to think about it. Maybe I'll comment on
the shit.
Facebook. But I was the one who was like, "Hey, this is a good idea. We should do all this shit." I'll try to come up with a list and maybe put it on the post on the Facebook page whenever I put the podcast up. I'll try to come back to it that way. So we'll just start with the big two: Professor X and Magneto.
Okay.
Professor X, I actually have 3 choices.
Good lord.
My first, when I just thought of Professor X, the first person I thought of, for whatever reason, was Terry O'Quinn from Lost.
Okay.
Okay.
And then after him, I was like, I don't know if I like that. So then I thought a little bit harder, and I came up with Stanley Tucci, who I think I like better.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, as I was trying to Google to get some ideas, and I can't take credit for this, but I saw somebody else suggest this online, and if they go a different direction, I thought this would be really cool.
Would you just
Was
Google bald actors? Like, what did?
No.
How did you...
X-Men fan casting, just to see what people thought.
Bald actors
but-
between 50 and 60, British accent, wheelchair.
Somebody had suggested Lance Reddick if they make Professor X black.
Okay.
I don't think I know who that is.
He is the voice of Zavala for Destiny.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's an
and then for
interesting
Magneto, I'm thinking Jason Isaacs.
Okay.
That'd be a good one.
I went Mark Strong for Professor X.
And I thought that too. He was another one that came to mind, but there's something about like his voice is like too deep for me that I was like, I don't know if I could see that voice coming out of Professor X.
You know what? I think he could make it work.
Especially if that voice was like the reverberating voice in your head that they could do really cool. I think that would be
Oh
neat.
yeah, real bassy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
real bassy.
Yeah.
Like you're in like Cyclops' head, and all of a sudden you hear Mark Strong like Cyclops, you are needed, and you're just like, holy fuck.
Yeah, it's
Thanks,
definitely got that intimidation factor.
That's a good
So
story,
yeah.
Good.
In Magneto, I said David Morrissey. He was,
I don't know
for
if I know
those
who that
listening
is.
that don't know who he is, he was the governor on The Walking Dead.
Oh,
That doesn't help me either.
okay.
I know it doesn't help you, Brian. You can Google him. He's been in other things, but his main role that he's known for is as the governor from Walking Dead.
I could see that. I pretty much despised him in that. He did a pretty good job of making you despise him, so I could see that.
All right, so Andy, impartial third party. Any of those you like better than the other ones?
I'm gonna go Mark Strong and Jason Isaacs.
Oh, he played one of each.
Yeah,
he played the smart
My
card.
seesaw is even, motherfuckers.
We'll see how it tips as we go forward. And it's
I'm a
one at
Libra.
Yeah.
Scales of justice, bitch.
The next X-Men character that I have on my list is Wolverine, except I couldn't think of anybody that I wanted to replace Hugh Jackman. I really think they should go unknown actor for Wolverine and not pick a big name. I think if you build up big names around him, I think you can get away with that.
I mean, I feel like that's almost kind of a cop-out in this competition. Since it's now
Probably.
a competition
And
and he's judging it.
Yeah,
So-
and I'll take the hit on that. That's fine. But I couldn't think of any, because I want a Wolverine that's like the comics. I want someone short, hairy, 5'3", really angry, and I couldn't think of anyone that fits that.
I went with someone who he'd feel more like Wolverine from that aspect than Hugh Jackman did, just because of the height, and I feel like he can pull off the grittiness and everything. But I went with Tom Hardy.
And that's, for whatever reason, if you Google X-Men fan casting, he's the one that comes up for everybody's fucking list.
It's because he's fucking awesome. He's Tom Hardy.
He is pretty awesome, yeah.
And he could do the role. Like, he could play Wolverine and make it feel like Wolverine, and
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I guess he just seemed like the really obvious choice. That
Well,
I was
I'll
trying
throw-
to think of something else, and I couldn't.
The other choice I have in my own head that I didn't use because he's already blatantly, like, Tom Hardy is not blatantly cast in the MCU now because Venom and all that. I don't count that because that may not even happen at this point because of everything. But I also looked at John Bernthal as a potential Wolverine, but I didn't bother because he's already the Punisher.
Right.
But I'd wanted him when there was rumors that a while ago that Hugh Jackman was done and they were rebooting the series. It was like, please, John Bernthal. Back when he was just a character on The Walking Dead before he started getting cast in a whole bunch of stuff, it was like, that's who I would want. Truly,
Yeah.
to replace him. But again, he's already
I mean,
the
I think
Punisher.
between those two,
Kinda tough.
between those two for me, I'd probably still pick Tom Hardy, but that's me.
Tom Hardy's the better actor, but I feel like John Bernthal would be the better Wolverine.
Okay. Andy, I don't know. I don't have a pick, but maybe between Bernthal and Tom Hardy, who do you think for Wolverine?
I think physically Bernthal would match the characteristics of Wolverine better, but I think Tom Hardy would probably knock it out of the park better.
I can agree with that.
Okay. Next one on my list is Cyclops.
Oh, this is
That's
a fan
another
favorite. Oh, God.
It's still one of my favorite characters. So I couldn't narrow it down to one. So I got 3 choices for this one too.
Oh, wow.
He only has
Okay.
one eye, Brian. He can't have
I
3
know.
choices.
He has
because
one eye and you have 3 choices.
So I know we've talked, I think, in the past. I think Romano and I were sort of on the same page with this, where we sort of thought Taron Egerton would make a really good Cyclops. However, I did not pick him for this role. First pick for me, I think above the other 2 that I have, is Matt Bomer.
From Suits?
It was a USA show.
Or
I don't
White
think
Collar.
Suits was it. White Collar, yeah.
Okay.
I have to look that person up. I don't know who that is.
Bomer.
Okay. He's
Two other
definitely got the
names I
look.
saw. 2 other names I saw floating around that I was like, I could see that, and I think they'd do a decent job. Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Brandon Routh.
Okay.
Leave Brandon Routh alone.
Mine was Chris Pine. I feel like Captain Kirk could lead the X-Men fairly well.
I guess I could see him with a visor on.
I feel like he would have a really good back and forth with Tom Hardy, especially because they were in that one movie with
Oh yeah.
Reese Witherspoon, where they were like
where they were
both
spies.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
they already got the bickering down.
Yeah, they were good in that. That was actually pretty humorous between the 2 of them.
You know, I was really surprised that I liked that movie as much as I did because it actually.
I own that movie.
Yeah,
I like that
it's
movie.
not bad at all, right? Was it Reese Witherspoon?
Yeah,
okay.
Reese
I couldn't
Witherspoon,
remember exactly who.
All right, Andy, you got 4 choices for Cyclops.
I think I'm going to go Bomer. It was
Nice.
kind of like a out of the blue pick, but I liked it.
Yeah. All right, spinning off from Cyclops, let's go Jean Grey. Mike, who do you got for Jean Grey?
I have Karen Gillan.
Ooh, okay.
I feel like, once again, I don't care that she's cast. She'd be unrecognizable by comparison to...
Yeah, because Nebula.
Yeah.
she
So I feel
wouldn't
like
have all
it'd
the
be
blue
okay.
shit. Yeah.
And as far as young redheaded actresses go, I feel like there's not really much competition there for her at this point. I mean, Emma Stone's good, but I don't feel like Emma Stone has anything about her that speaks to Jean Grey in any way. She was decent as Mary Jane and all, she would have been a decent Mary Jane. She wasn't Mary Jane. She was Gwen, but I don't feel like there's anybody else that really is on Karen Gillan's level. Let's say.
Okay, I got you. First choice for me for Jean Grey was Jessica Chastain.
Ooh.
Okay.
But she is cast in Dark Phoenix, so I don't know if they would actually reboot her after using her in the last X-Men movie they're going to do with Fox. So my other choice is Bryce Dallas Howard.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's I think a lot of this for me depended on who I was imagining in what roles.
Yeah, I think it depends on what age they want to go
things.
with the cast. Yeah, if they want to do a little bit older cast, younger cast, that could play a factor too.
Yeah. Okay.
Andy, out of what, 3 choices? Bryce Dallas Howard.
I think I like the Bryce Dallas Howard pick because I feel like if the X-Men are ever going to intertwine with the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Jurassic World people can get together.
Oh, there you go. Her and Chris Pratt.
That is a great reason for that answer. I love that we get a reason for it, and it's that.
I have 5 other characters that I tried to cast. How many more do you have?
Hold on. So I got to count how many we.
Because I don't even know if we have the same ones.
So
to be honest,
1, 2, 3, 4. We've done 5, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 more.
Holy!
Oh shit! Okay.
We'll
just roll through my 5, here. And we'll hit who's left on your list.
Okay.
Did you cast for Storm? I have one for Storm.
Yes, I did as well.
Okay. For Storm, I picked Lupita Nyong'o.
Ooh.
Okay. You know what I said? I feel like I'm lying a little bit here. I feel like I said I wasn't gonna do a lot of stuff that's already been cast in the MCU. People who haven't, but I went with Denai Guerrera. She's gonna be in Black Panther and Infinity War. She is Michonne from The Walking Dead.
Ooh.
I feel like she has a powerful presence. I feel like that Storm has to have.
I still think it's like a vetoed pick, though. If she's already cast in the MCU, they're not going to cast her again.
Yeah, but it's fan casting, so fuck it. Okay, like.
All right.
Are you recording these to see how accurate if you win the whole contest if one of these people is actually cast?
Dude, I'll shit a brick if one of these picks that I do is right.
All right, hear that, people? Everyone listening to the podcast, we have Brian agreeing to actually shit a brick.
I will mold my shit into a brick-shaped thing. So you have 2 picks for Storm.
I'm going to slightly shade to Brian's pick. Just because the other one's already used in Black Panther.
Fair enough.
And it wouldn't be too hard for them to get Brian's pick either because she's already in fucking Star Wars. So.
Oh yeah,
she is under the Disney umbrella.
That's an easy slide.
Next one I have on my list is Gambit, and I'm still picking Channing Tatum just because I want to see what the hell he does with Gambit.
Boy, that was original, okay. Brian.
Yeah, I know. I'll take a hit for that one. That's fine. He's basically already cast. But I'm assuming that movie is dead, and they're just going to use him again.
James Franco.
Yes.
He's going to be multiple... Oh, wait, is that movie still happening? Shit, I don't even know if that
not.
movie's still happening. Yeah.
Probably not.
Because he was supposed to be Multiple Man. They were supposed to be making a Multiple Man X-Men movie through Fox.
Why in the God's green earth?
Mistake.
Why would they ever make a Multiple Man movie? That makes
I don't know.
Zero sense to me.
That just screams like passion project for James Franco to me.
Yeah.
Who even reads X-Men and goes, Multiple Man, he's my favorite. Or
apparently James Franco.
Sorry, they're my favorite.
Yeah, maybe people called James Franco Jamie as a kid, and he's like, "Oh, Jamie, he's an X-Men. Give me him." And I don't know. I'm grasping for straws here. I have no idea why they would think that was any kind of idea that should be done.
Yeah, dumb.
But that said, yes, I think James Franco would make an excellent Gambit.
Yeah. I still wouldn't mind seeing Taylor Kirsch get another crack
That's who I was going
to
say.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either.
A legitimate...
in a proper X-Men movie with Gambit.
Yes, instead of the foul butt turd that came out of Fox that time.
Because I thought he was definitely a bright spot to me in that movie.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Did either of you see American Assassins? He was actually pretty good as the enemy assassin.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't watched it.
I've heard he's good in other stuff. It's just the stuff that I've seen him in has been so wishy-washy. Even I liked what the fuck, the Mars movie, Jason Carter John Carter.
John Carter.
Yeah. John Carter.
That he was decent in that. I like that movie too.
It wasn't that he was bad in Battleship. It's just that Battleship was bad.
Yeah,
I didn't actually hate Battleship or John Carter. I mean, they weren't real fantastic movies, but I mean, they were I don't know, there were explosions and shit. It was pretty decent.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just, I guess, had bad luck with projects.
Yeah.
Oh, Andy, take a pick.
Draw. No, literally draw. I want to see if you can draw better.
Yeah. Loss. I'll take the hit. Loss. All right, so I have three more characters. I have Iceman, Kitty Pryde, and Rogue. Do you have
Okay.
all of those, Mike?
I did not get around to casting Kitty,
Okay.
but I have Iceman and Rogue, yes.
All right, so we'll do Iceman and Rogue, and then I'll end with Kitty, and then we'll go your final ones. So Iceman for me, I still wanted to use him, so I put him here, Taron Egerton.
Okay. I went with Logan Lerman.
Oh, okay.
That was just a...
Just to recap, Taron Egerton is Kingsman.
Yes, Eggsy. I thought he'd make a good showboating Bobby Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see the Kingsman, just how he's kind of like cocky like that, being a nice man.
I do like Logan Lerman, though. He doesn't get enough credit for being a good actor.
No, he was. I really enjoyed the movie where he was D'Artagnan in that Musketeers movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I really enjoyed Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Oh, that's right. He was in that, too. Yeah.
He's been in a lot of things, man.
Yeah.
He just...
Although that Noah movie fucking sucked.
Well, they made that movie because they were like, oh, we can make Global Flood now with our fucking new effects abilities, so let's make a Noah movie. And I think that was their entire intent with that movie was fuck the story, fuck the cast, fuck the writing. We're just gonna we're gonna make a big wave. Let's do it.
If you want to go to make a big
all right.
wave, just go to a Pirate King.
Oh, man. You're rare form today. In the morning, I guess you're more on top of your game.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, who do you got for Iceman?
Slight edge to Edgerton. Ooh.
All right, so Rogue.
He just goes,
Just
ooh.
making a silent fist pump. Mike, who do you got for Rogue?
I have Emily Blunt.
Oh, okay. I went a little bit younger. I went Alexandra Daddario.
Oh.
Okay. I feel like I looked at that possibility, and then I thought about everything I've seen her in, and I was kind of like, I never really find her that enjoyable. I can see her as Rogue, but I just generally don't think she's that good of an actress. She's good eye candy, but actress...
And that's part of it, too. I'd be lying if I said
I'm
otherwise.
going to go with Blunt because I feel like she could really nail that southern accent.
That was where I was sort of hung up. I don't know Daddario, how well she's good at accents and stuff like that. If she could do the Southern Belle thing.
Gotcha.
I could definitely see Blunt with the white streak in her hair talking like Rogue. Yeah.
All right, so the last one I have that Mike doesn't have is Kitty Pryde. For Kitty Pryde, I picked Anna Kendrick.
Okay. I mean, off the top of my head, I'd say just go back to what they already had.
Ellen Page was a good Kitty Pryde, yeah.
Yeah, like that would be my first choice is just keep her. She was fine, but I don't know if that counts as a choice.
So I don't know if you get to make any rulings on these, Andy, since they're all sort of one-sided, but
I'm gonna,
I don't know. What do you think of Anna Kendrick?
Thumbs up. Upvote.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, Mike, we'll hit your final ones that I don't have.
All right, so I have Nightcrawler, and Nightcrawler I want to be cast as a CG character as just a voice. I don't want them to have an actual actor playing Nightcrawler, kind of the way they did Colossus for Deadpool.
Or like the Avatar blue cat people.
Right. And my choice for that, for the voice acting, is Christoph Waltz for Nightcrawler.
Okay.
I feel like Nightcrawler like, if you try and do him legit makeup, it's gonna look like shit. Nightcrawler has to be CG because he's got shadow that like fucking follows him around and shit. Like, it just, I don't know. I don't feel like they can actually put somebody in a suit and say that's Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
So that would be that. Beast, I cast as Liam Hemsworth.
So do you want? Okay, so here's because I was trying to think of Beast for myself and I couldn't think of anything, so I didn't make him on there. But in my mind, I was thinking Beast the way you're thinking Nightcrawler is CG character with just a voice.
Okay.
Is that what you're thinking, or are you thinking putting him in a suit or human Beast? Or
yeah, I was gonna say that's the thing. Is like I feel like there is a human version of Beast before Beast becomes Beast.
Okay.
It's kind of, they showed that in the last few movies, and I feel like that's actually a big part of his character arc and story arc into learning about him, so I feel like you have to have cast for that aspect of it. Whereas Nightcrawler never really has that. He's born the way he is.
Right.
So, I kind of feel like that's where I stand on that one. We'll just say it that way.
I could see that.
Other ones. Oh, Colossus, I cast. I want them to keep it the same as what was in Deadpool. And that dude's name is Steven Kapicic. I don't know how to say his last name. Kapicic. I just want the same exact Colossus we had in Deadpool. That was perfect.
I agree.
That would be like my number one request on this list. Like, if they don't do anything else, just keep what you already did right in Deadpool with Colossus. Don't fuck it up again like you did in the first movies.
Yeah.
I cast Angel. I went with Tom Felton.
Okay.
As Angel. I feel like he could pull off the rich dickhead pretty well aspect of Angel, but he also has that.
I was to say he could pull off the Archangel as well.
Yes. Yeah, he would look good as an evil archangel kind of thing going on. For sure. I'm trying to go through my list to make sure I don't miss anybody else that I cast that you didn't. And
I'll try to come back around. Like, if I'm posting on the Facebook page for who I cast for Fantastic Four, I'll have to try to come back around to who you cast that I didn't.
Okay.
And try to put my picks up there.
I also cast Psylocke. Psylocke, basically the same answer as Colossus. Just give me Olivia Munn back and actually let her blossom the role a little bit.
Yeah.
She looked perfect.
I was to say she looked really good in that role.
Yeah, she looked right for it. She acted well for it in spite of the rest of that movie. I feel like she was the one shining star in that movie among the other things that were so bad about it.
They definitely needed to give her more to do, though.
Yes. I agree. But she looked the role. They did a lot right. It just, I don't know. That movie just kind of tainted a lot of things in it, so they probably wouldn't bring her back.
Yeah.
And the last character that I cast is Jubilee, who, technically speaking, we have not seen in an X-Men movie. I think they had, like, a scene where she's listed in the cast as somebody that walked by or was in a classroom or something.
There's been at least 2 different versions of Jubilee. She shows up in X-Men 2, and I think she shows up in, Apocalypse?
It's one of them, but it's always just, like, off to the side and never really paid any mind to her. Like, I think she says one thing in Apocalypse. Like, she has a line in a classroom, is what I feel like. I feel like they're in a classroom and she says something.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen that one. I know for a fact for X-Men 2, when they're at Stryker's facility, and the Storm finally comes to, like, rescue the kids that are in, like, a cell beneath the floor, Storm calls out to Jubilee. Says, Hey, Jubilee, are you okay? Or whatever. So, she's there.
Right.
And then they cast her younger in the 80s, which takes place before fucking X-Men continuity.
Yeah, no, don't. You're gonna get yourself into a grounded Vindaloop.
I have an aneurysm.
But I did cast Jubilee as Jamie Chung.
Ooh, yes, yeah, that's a good one.
She's Blink or whatever on
Oh, that's true.
that series
She does
there,
a good
but
job as Blink, too.
we don't know what's going to happen with that TV series now.
What series?
Yeah. The Gifted.
The Gifted. Like the Gifted, I'm not worried about Gifted. I started watching Legion, and I'm actually really worried that Legion continues or gets canceled or God knows what for whatever direction they want to take it. If
Pretty
they
sure
decide,
Legion's already greenlit for a season 2.
yeah, but what happens to season 3? What happens to the show going forward from there?
Season 1 was awesome.
Yes, it was.
Because, well, all I'm going to say is if Marvel decides they want to use Onslaught as a villain, you can kiss Legion goodbye real quick because they're going to have to retcon the whole damn thing to fit the story. And Onslaught's a pretty damn awesome villain, so it's kind of, do I want that to happen or not?
Well, at the rate Marvel and Disney don't seem to care about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore as far as connecting to the MCU. They might just be leaving TV alone now.
That's true.
So that was your last one?
Yeah, that was the last one I had.
Andy, what do you think?
They all sound like pretty good picks to me.
Fair enough. Yeah, I liked a lot of those. So yeah, I guess we'll see at this point what the hell happens with X-Men in the MCU, and if we get any of them right at all. We'll have throw ourselves a little mini party, I think, if we do. So yeah, if you're listening to this and you have your own fan casting, feel free to comment on the Facebook page, or once this podcast comes up, you can let us know your fan casting. If you agree, disagree, if you have some better picks, we'll debate it out. And after that, I guess we'll just see what happens whenever X-Men presumably come into Phase 4, hopefully, of the MCU. And we'll see. I wonder if the X-Men Fantastic Four will show up at the same time in the MCU, or if they'll sort of space them out.
I feel like the Fantastic Four won't get their own movie as an introduction.
Okay.
I feel like they're not going to reboot that again and expect people to watch that again. I feel like they're going to...
That's true. Yeah.
Probably just insert them into an Avengers movie in some way, or into an Ant-Man movie, or something like that.
Yeah, especially if the enemy is Doctor Doom.
Well, that
Yeah,
I mean, that could be
true.
our Endgame Phase 6 guy now. Now that they have Doctor Doom,
Oh, yeah.
That could be the big deal villain for this go.
Yep. We'll have to see how all this. It's definitely intriguing to see where they go. We weren't sure what the hell the MCU was going to look like after Infinity or Avengers. I keep calling it Infinity War, but it's Avengers 4 is the end of this phase with all these original people they have for the last 10 years. And now it seems like they actually have something to do, or at least something new to play with, which makes it interesting again.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just seeing sequels and sequels and more sequels, we could actually see what Marvel does with some of these guys. So that'll be good. All right, so I think that's where we're going to wrap this one up. I think we still ended up going a little bit longer than I wanted to, but we will make it work. So if you've enjoyed the show, please stop by iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Be sure to share, subscribe, favorite the show wherever you decide to listen to us. As I mentioned before, and like always, you can find us on Facebook, search Bry Guy and Super Friends, or go to facebook.com/Bry Guy Super Friends. And you can send us questions, comments, topic suggestions there, or you can email us, bryguysuperfriends@gmail.com, or tweet us at BGSuperFriends on Twitter. On behalf of Andy, Mike, and myself, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next time.